Some pretty incredible news here, ladies and gentlemen. In the last 24 hours, President Donald J. Trump is shaking the world. And tonight, we've got not one, but two humiliations that are so epic that the internet just can't stop laughing. Greta Thunberg, the so-called climate warrior, just got deported after her Gaza stunt collapsed in flames. She's completely unrecognizable, mocked across the globe and begging for relevance. And at the very same time, Chicago's radical mayor, Brandon Johnson, walked into MSNBC and got absolutely destroyed, exposed for bankrupting his own city while violent chaos rages in the streets. And this isn't just politics. This is a total collapse of credibility. Two of the left's biggest mascots completely humiliated on the world stage and right here at home, guys. And trust me, folks, by the end of today's video, you're going to see exactly how bad it has gotten, from Greta's He-Man haircut memes to Chicago's billion-dollar deficit and kids roaming the streets with automatic rifles. Can you believe this, guys? Now, here's the real kicker. President Trump, he warned us about both of these disasters years ago. And today, whenever you happen to be watching this, I'm going to show you guys exactly how every word came true. Now, stick with me, guys, because in just a minute, I'm going to show you, I'm going to play the actual, we're going to go through the exchange where Johnson tries to defend giving billions of dollars to illegals while his own residents are left in terror. And later, I want to break down exactly why Greta's latest flop proves that her entire movement is completely crumbling. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. All right, folks, let's go ahead and let's start with the big, huge humiliation of the week, okay? Greta Thunberg's deportation disaster. Now, let me tell you guys, this is one for the history books. Picture this. You got Greta, the so-called, the self-declared savior of the planet, right? She boards her so-called solidary flotilla to Gaza. She tells the world that she's sailing there on pure wind and virtue. But reality check, folks, they weren't sailing anywhere. They were running on fossil fuel. These were fossil fueled motors the whole time. The very thing that Greta built her fame fighting against, oh yeah, the hypocrisy doesn't even begin to cover it. And so it gets even better than that, guys. The Israeli Navy intercepts her crew of self-styled eco-pirates, people with zero real skills, offering zero real help to the people of Gaza. And instead of some heroic standoff, what happens? They offer Greta a sandwich. And that photo, yeah, Greta staring longingly at that bag of sandwiches. It was kind of like the last meal on earth. That completely went viral, guys. There's no AI trickery. There's no Photoshop, no Adobe. It was 100% real. So-called climate warrior reduced to a meme. But the humiliation didn't stop there. Within like 20 miles of leaving port, storms hit. I'm talking 35-mile-per-hour winds, tossing their ships around like toys. Greta's largest solidarity mission in history completely collapsed before it even got off the ground. Forced to go back to Barcelona, tail between their legs, completely just pretending that nobody was going to notice. Well, everybody freaking noticed. The internet noticed, and it crashed. The internet just collapsed and burned down. The laughter was deafening, guys. And speaking of laughter, the internet has crowned Greta the queen of memes. Side-by-sides comparing her to He-Man, Lord Farquaad from Shrek, a 14th century page boy. Medieval farmers are yelling about cabbage harvest. I mean, the memes are endless. Even Meghan McCain jumped in saying that Greta's uneven bangs, shitty Lord Farquaad haircut made it impossible to take her seriously. And when Meghan McCain roasts you on national television, I mean, you already know you lost the plot. So yes, I mean, this is what happened. This is the same Greta who once scowled at President Donald J. Trump on the world stage at the UN, screaming, "How dare you?" at him, right? And then what did Trump say then? He called her an angry little girl who needed anger management classes. Classic, right? So if we fast forward to today, under President Trump's presidency, what do we see? That anger-driven activism has turned into worldwide embarrassment. Now, Trump ultimately had the last laugh, and Greta's career has literally morphed into a bad haircut meme. So let me just go ahead and put it to you this way, guys. Is Greta really a climate warrior standing up for justice, or is she just nothing more than a hypocritical puppet whose stunts collapse faster than her haircut line? I mean, but hang on, guys, because if you thought Greta's deportation was humiliating, wait until you see what happened to Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson on MSNBC, guys. I want to go ahead and dive into how Johnson was absolutely destroyed live on air, heckled by by his own residents and exposed for running his city into bankruptcy, and got caught lying about some crime stats while kids are roaming the streets with automatic rifles. Guys, you don't want to miss that. Now, let's be completely honest with ourselves, right? Your insurance company is not your friend. They profit when you pay more and you get less. They win when you don't review your plan. This is why I partner with Chapter, because they flip the script and they make sure that you and not the insurer come out on top. Now, Leslie Taylor, she completely won the game. She saved $1,000 a year. Sharon won. She got back coverage after getting dropped. That is the difference that Chapter makes with Medicare, and I absolutely love it. So here's a question. Who's going to keep you winning? All right. And more importantly, who's going to keep winning? Are you going to start winning, or are you going to let your insurance company keep winning? Right? Because again, they win when you don't look. They win when you don't check. Now, most people have already made the decision. That is why they're calling the phone number at the bottom of the screen, or they're visiting askchapter.org/Ron. Or, of course, you can hit them up on the phone. Old school style, give them a call at 909-563-8279. It is a completely free call and completely free service. They will never ask you for a dime from the Ron Yates community. Now, while Greta was like laughing off the high seas right here in America, Chicago's mayor, Brandon Johnson, he was absolutely destroyed, humiliated, not just by conservatives. Like, that's normal. Conservatives are constantly roasting that guy, right? But by his own people this time. And even on MSNBC, the very network that usually runs cover for Democrat failures, yeah, they were out there cooking that man. So let's start with just how unpopular this guy really is. I mean, we're talking about a mayor who he's so hated that his own approval ratings scrape the bottom of the barrel. I mean, yeah, it's bad. So you can almost see why, if you've seen this viral clip, you can completely understand. Basically, you got a black resident, not some outsider, not a Republican plant, not a stance individual. You got a lifelong Chicagoan. He stood up and he let him have it. I mean, she called him out for bankrupting the city on migrants. She reminded him that he completely campaigned promising that there would be no property taxes, and then he turned around and tried to ram through a $300 million hike, only to come back begging for $150 million more after the first scheme collapsed. She is pissed, okay? She is absolutely furious, and she has every right to be. She even called on Donald Trump and former ICE Director Tom Homan to come in and make an example out of this guy. Now, you know it's bad when it's one of your peoples coming after you and cooking you on live TV. Now, this is the level of anger that we're talking about here. And she's not alone. She's part of this grassroots movement called Chicago Flips Red. Have you guys heard of that? Yeah. Ordinary people in Chicago's black community are waking up and they're realizing that Democrats have sold them out for decades. And we've been talking about this for a long time. And folks, she's right, because the city is broke. They're broke as a joke, and not just a little bit of broke. $1 billion in the red kind of broke. That's pretty broke, right? And so budget officials, they admit it's only going to get worse, ballooning to $1.15 billion in 2026, pushing to $1.2 billion in 2028. You know what that means, right? The money is gone. Not just gone, it's gone, okay? The programs aren't funded. The hole is widening. And guess who's left holding the bag? Of course, it's the taxpayers, the very people who Johnson promised not to squeeze. He squeezed anyway. And so now this isn't new for Chicago. No, this is a city it's been run into the ground by corrupt politicians for decades. Remember the infamous 2008 parking meter sell-off? Chicago politicians sold 75 years of parking meter revenue to a Middle Eastern investor group for a quick $1.15 billion payday. Yeah, at the time, parking was 25 cents an hour. Today, it's $5 or $6 an hour in some places. And so those investors, they made back their entire investment by 2017. Everything they collect until 2083 is pure profit. The city traded billions of dollars in long-term revenue for a short-term fix. This was a move that was so absolutely boneheaded that experts still call it the dumbest municipal deal in history. And now Brandon Johnson is running the exact same playbook. I mean, spend recklessly, patch the holes with gimmicks, and leave the taxpayers holding the bill. But here's the part that really kind of set people off. Johnson goes on MSNBC, smiling ear to ear, looked like the Joker, Like he looked like a black Joker, and then like brags about how well Chicago's doing. He says homicides are down 32%, shootings are down 40%, robberies are down 35%, carjackings down nearly 50%. He rattles off some stats like a man living in a fantasy. But let me tell you this, guys. Do these numbers match what Chicagoans are living every single day? Because here's the reality. In neighborhoods across the south and west sides, people are terrified to walk out their front doors. Parents keep their kids inside. Businesses won't set up shop because who wants to operate in a war zone? And the scariest part, viral videos show groups of teenagers, kids barely out of middle school, roaming the streets with automatic rifles stuffed in their pants, about to blow the little Johnsons off, ready to open fire at any car that passes by. That's the reality, guys. That is the safe Chicago that Brandon Johnson wants you to believe in. Now, here's a complete disconnect, okay? You got a mayor who's armed with spreadsheets and talking points and bragging on MSNBC versus real people who are ducking for cover when they hear gunshots and gunfire outside their homes. Who do you trust? The politician in a suit? Or do you trust the mother who's praying that her child doesn't get hit by a stray bullet on the way home from school? So, folks, this is why Brandon Johnson is being destroyed in real time. His words don't match the reality on the ground. His residents know it, the grassroots knows it, and now, thanks to a lot of these clips going viral and videos like this one, the whole country knows it. But hang on, guys, did you guys hear about Brandon Johnson's sanctuary city policies? Why schools in black neighborhoods are being shut down for lack of funds, only to be reopened as housing for illegal immigrants, and why over 600,000 illegals are flooding into Chicago? Guys, wait until you see Johnson's pathetic response when confronted in Congress. All right, so let's dig into the real reason that Johnson, or the real reason why Chicago is spiraling out of control. Brandon Johnson's sanctuary city obsession. That's what it is. Think about it. Schools in black neighborhoods were shut down because there wasn't enough funding. There wasn't enough money. Parents begged for help. Kids were left without classrooms, but the very same buildings magically reopened to house illegal immigrants. There was no money for local kids, plenty of money for people who broke the law to get in here. Anybody see a problem with this? And the scale of this crisis is insane. It's staggering. ICE statistics reveal there are over 600,000 illegal immigrants now in Chicago. Think about that. At the same time, Chicago residents reported 28,443 violent crimes in 2024 alone, with aggravated assault at a 20-year high. That's not just a spike. That is a breakdown. Congress confronted Johnson with these numbers. They asked him point blank, how many of these illegal immigrants with criminal histories are in your city right now? And what was Johnson's response? He had no answer, none. Just a smirk, a little grin, and a dodge, saying somebody else will get back with him on the number. That's not leadership, guys. That is a complete sellout. And it gets even darker. Reports now show MS-13 and Tren de Aragua gang members, they're being funneled straight into black neighborhoods, they're clashing with existing gangs and pouring gasoline on a fire that's already raging. So instead of sending in more cops to protect the residents, Johnson doubles down on after-school programs and youth membership. Do you think a gangbanger, who's high on drugs with an AK-47 cares about a mentorship program? I don't think so. So this is the heart of the problem. Chicago isn't putting citizens first. It's not protecting neighborhoods. It's sacrificing law-abiding residents for the sake of a political agenda. And ordinary people are tired of paying the price in blood and fear. So do not go anywhere, because I want to look at the bigger picture here, how President Trump's America is rebuilding strength with Democrat-run states like Illinois and California's collapse. And wait until you hear what Governor J.B. Pritzker just told his own citizens. If you don't like it, just leave. Oh, yeah. He actually did say that. He did that. So I want to zoom out just for a second and look at the bigger picture here, guys. What we're seeing with Greta and Brandon Johnson, it's not isolated. This is the same failed playbook Democrats have been running coast to coast. Under President Trump, America is clawing its way back. Tariffs are funding Social Security. The border is finally being secured. Fiscal tightening is forcing Washington to live within its means. Love him or hate him, Trump is proving that tough leadership delivers results, right? So meanwhile, Democrat cities are collapsing in plain sight. Chicago's billion-dollar deficit is just the beginning. California used to run a $20 billion surplus. Now, under Gavin Newsom, it's bleeding a $12 billion deficit. And Illinois, Governor J.B. Pritzker has the nerve to tell people, if you don't like it here, just leave. Okay, sure, Bob. Well, think about that. A governor whose job is to protect his residents, basically it's just telling them to pack it up and get the heck out of his state. Wow. So it doesn't even stop there though, guys, because J.B. Pritzker signed a law forcing kids in Illinois schools to undergo yearly mental health checkups. Translation, your child gets handed over to state-approved therapists who get to decide whether their beliefs are acceptable or not. Parents who resist, well, they risk being reported to Child Protective Services. This ain't leadership, guys. This is authoritarianism dressed up as compassion. Chicago is the warning sign. Schools shut down for local kids, but they're open for migrants. MS-13 flooding neighborhoods, budget deficits swallowing the future. I mean, like, and you got residents crying out for help. And what do they get? They get after school programs and mentorship brochures. Meanwhile, armed teenagers patrol their streets with rifles. This is what Democrat leadership looks like. Complete chaos, decay, fear, and always the same excuse. We just need more money. Well, the people are waking up. You saw it in the viral clip of the black resident demanding Trump come in and fix her city before, right? I mean, you're seeing it in California where taxpayers are fleeing by the millions. And you're going to see it at the ballot box when Americans choose law and order, not woke passion projects. So here's the bottom line, guys. Greta Thunberg was humiliated on the world stage. Brandon Johnson, he was completely destroyed on live TV, and Democrats everywhere are getting exposed. President Trump, he was right from day one. Their house of cards was always going to collapse. But I want to hear from you guys. Do you think cities like Chicago can still be saved? Or are they just too far gone under Democrat rule? Drop your thoughts, drop your comments down below, smash that like button, hit subscribe, share this video with everyone you know. And remember, guys, YouTube knows what you're going to enjoy next. So do not click away. The next video popping up right now, it's the one that you're definitely going to want to see. So click that video right there, and I'll see you on the other side.